Hey there, Shortcuts. This is Stephen here with the first list for the Shortcuts price list that will go out this Wednesday, the 3rd of June at 9 p.m. Sydney time. This usual rules apply. Anyone who wants to be on this list, check out the notes below or wait to the end of this video and I'll give you my email address. This is a prize week. So here's the prize. Everyone who buys a record from the list this week will get an entry into a prize. Now there's, I think, 30 records in total. So if you buy 3 records, you get 3 entries. The prize is this. This is a sealed copy of the Chess Records 75th anniversary press of Chuck Berry is on Top, which features Carol, Maybelline, Johnny B. Good, Little Queenie. Basically, a record that sits in the pantheon of rock and roll records of all time. And this is a sealed copy. So this will go out as a prize to a lucky winner. So if you buy 3 records this week, you get 3 entries. You have a 1 in 10 chance. Or less, that assumes that all 30 records sell, which will not be the case. So you will have a fantastic chance of winning that incredible audiophile press, the Chess Records 75th Anniversary Series. So mastered from the original analog tapes, manufactured at QRP with tip-on gatefold sleeve on high-grade board. That is a $75 record that someone will win. All right, this is the classic rock and pop list. I have a really cool genre list this week as well. All right, I had to start here. This is something pretty special. This is the Japanese NEMS press of Black Sabbath Volume 4, complete with Obi in really nice condition, the black label NEMS pressing. Now this album came out originally 1972. Obviously, Black Sabbath, the legendary band from Birmingham, the UK. Now, if any of you have been in my listening room, you will know that I've been working on this thing for a while, on the difference between analog and digital mastering when it comes to kind of classic rock from the 70s. And so I have a copy of Vol 4, which is a recent digital remaster, and I always compare it to this Japanese NEMS. And the difference is quite stark. This is my personal favorite Black Sabbath album. It has, I think, the most iconic beginning to a heavy rock album of all time. I think that it's the peak of their powers. I think that it's a very murky, weird mix, but that's partly why I love it so much. You've got Supernaut, you've got Snowblind, you've got Changes, which of course became effectively a soul song. I love this pressing. This is super hard to find in this condition, and so had to be the lead-off record. I think legacy-wise, this is, in many ways, I think this is their most prescient and influential record as well. I mean, so many heavy metal bands in the 80s and into the 90s sounded like this record. You know, I thinking particularly of Kiss, Queens of the Stone Age. Just absolutely must have just lived in this record. It's really cool. And so anyway, I found an absolutely lovely copy. And so that will be up for grabs. All right, the second record is one that's not on my records I love list, but I know many of you out there love The Doors. And this particular pressing, this is the P10334E pressing. I had it about this time last year, I think I had 2, and I just had brilliant feedback on this record. Now, this is a really, really fine copy. The only thing is a little corner ding there, but you can see the gloss. It's a really nice copy. The vinyl looks delightful as well. Got the innards, everything about it. Yeah, so if you're into the Doors, this is a very, very fine record, in a very fine version of a record that does nothing for me whatsoever. I don't know. It's kind of sleazy, and it's kind of muggy, and I don't know. Just doesn't work. Now, this next record is one that I do like very much indeed. And again, this is based on feedback. This is the Japanese press of Countdown to Ecstasy by Steely Dan, 1973. Now, I think this is the maybe the 76 repress, YW8050AB. I'll have the details in the notes that come on the email. But this is about as nice a copy of this record as I've seen. So, you know, I think Steely Dan are and will remain Shortcut's favorites for sure. And I think the studio precision meets jazz and rock still slays to this day. And then you map over the top that kind of sly literary bent that they had, and you've got something really good. Now, I'm pretty sure this was the follow-up. This is maybe their second album, The Boston Rag, Your Gold Teeth. Your Gold Teeth is a spectacular song, and that's a lovely, lovely, lovely copy. It's a killer record. Just is. It's just really, really good. All right. Talking about really, really good, this is a record that needs zero introduction. I've had so many of you who've really enjoyed the Japanese first press of Rumors. And so we have another copy. Enough said about Rumors. I think 60, 70 of you have that Japanese first press now. It is pristine but human and amazing and deserves everything that has ever been said about it. All right, now I've got something that I've never had before on this list, and it's a really proper audiophile record. This is the Analog Productions pressing of Roger Waters' Amused to Death. So, of course, this is a beast of a record, weighs a ton. The Analog Productions pressing was pressed on, I'm pretty sure it's 200 gram vinyl, 45 RPM speed on this one, pressed QRP, and that is a major selling point for all you audiophile listeners out there. This is an album of huge dynamic swings, really deep bass, and the pinpoint imaging of the Analog Productions is really something. I've had this record for this particular pressing for probably, I want to say 5 years now. And I get something out of it all the time. I don't think it's the greatest Roger Waters solo album. I think Hitchhiking is still probably the one, but this is that cinematic kind of paranoid side of his Pink Floyd legacy. And it was pretty, I mean, I was reading back on some of the reviews at the time, the contemporary reviews. It was probably respected for its ambition, even by the skeptics. But this really is a reference grade record. And for those of you who are into this kind of stuff, that is a pretty special find. I was pretty delighted to find that, to be honest. So yeah, the 2015 Analog Productions 2 LP version of Amused to Death. All right, now I have come to my personal favorite that's in this list, and it is a record that I've loved for years and love more and more every time I listen to it, and it is Rip It Up by Orange Juice. There is something about guitar, kind of spidery, post-punk, new wavy guitar from the early 80s. It is just catnip for me. And I went to see a wonderful Scottish band last night. I went to see the Beta Band at the Enmore, and it was a fabulous concert. So musical and warm and nostalgic and analog. A great set of musicians, and kind of reminded me, I was thinking to myself, what are the pantheon of great Scottish bands? And obviously Teenage Fan Club are there. I think the Beta Band are right there. And I would think Orange Juice are right there as well. This was their second album, I think. And whilst this was not a record that charted overnight in any way, it is and has been a key bridge between kind of post-punk and indie pop cool for me since I heard it. It's really bright and pointy music. I don't know. I love it to bits. I wonder if any of you out there are fans as well. Talking about great guitar bands from the late 70s and early 80s, I have two records by maybe the ones with the greatest legacy of them all. This is the Jam, and this is the Japanese first press of Setting Suns. And even better, I have a really cool thing. I have the UK first press of their debut album, The Jam in the City. And this comes in the original paper sleeve. It's in lovely condition. There it is. I think that is, for a lot of people out there, this may well be the record on the list. In the City, maybe their best. Who knows? Everyone's got their kind of their flavor of the Jam, but that's the Japanese first press of Setting Suns and the UK first press of In the City. Setting Suns features Eaton Rifles, and I suppose it's an album that's cut from a broader palette than In the City. But In the City has got obviously the title track. It's got Art School. It rips with velocity and tight downstrokes and that kind of early Paul Wellerian snarl. It's really lean production. They kind of smashed it, didn't they? But they were three quite phenomenal musicians. All right, now I've got a couple of Aussie presses. I've got the Cure, Pornography, another early 80s, 1982 in fact. This is the Aussie first press. This was off my shelf. This is the copy I've had for a long time, and I got a recent UK first press, and so I'm putting this one on the list. But I've listened to this many times. It's got a few marks, it's got a few pops and cracks, but it's a lovely copy. And yeah, I suppose if you're into that era of the Cure that is super bleak, and I'm thinking here like 17 Seconds, Faith, Pornography, that run, that is, I suppose, really kind of dark record for a casual listener, but for those who were into the Cure, it was absolute catnip, wasn't it? And I suppose over the years it's become more of a kind of post-punk foundational record. Personally, I like this next record more. This again is this is a magazine Real Life. Now I think this is a UK press. I'm gonna have to double check that quickly. Yeah, made in England. So the UK press of Real Life. I don't know if it's the first press. It comes in the paper sleeve, which is always a signifier of a UK press. So the sleeves kind of okay. It's got, you can see creases and marks, but the vinyl's really nice. What a fantastic album this is as well. Magazine, Howard Devoto, and I can't remember what year this one came out. Let me just check. 78. So this is, again, right in the sweet spot of late 70s, early 80s. Magical stuff. Post the Buzzcocks, Howard Devoto just becoming smarter and stranger and maybe more modernist, I would say. And Magazine, Secondhand Daylight, I think is their best, but Real Life, most people think it's their masterpiece. But, I can do all of Magazine's records. I think they're right up there. All right, I've got the next listing I've got here is somewhat tragic, but also an opportunity for maybe someone. Smith's records are really hard to find. And I have two Smith's records here. I have a really lovely copy of The Queen is Dead and a really lovely copy of Strange Ways Here I Come. There is an issue. There are no sleeves. I cannot find the sleeves anywhere. I have no idea where they are. And so in order to kind of punish myself for being a total idiot for mislaying the sleeves, I'm just going to sell these as is. Beautiful vinyl only copies of first presses. They're both Aussie first presses of Queen's Dead and Strange Ways. So I don't know, probably $50-$60 for the both, but if you're into getting the vinyl without paying the nosebleed prices and you don't mind not having a sleeve, they're there for you. All right, I've got a couple of pop classics from the 80s now. I've got the self-titled debut of A Flock of Seagulls, another band that is somewhat beloved by me, and therefore quite a few of you have picked up I Ran So Far Away, or my personal favorite Space Age love song. Again, I think the kind of shimmery, kinetic music is perfectly suited to the Japanese pressings from that time, and it's great. And talking about great, have a look at this. What a sleeve this is. Madonna's True Blue where the obi merges in. I love that. This is a fabulous copy of this. Papa Don't Preach, Open Your Heart, Live to Tell, True Blue, La Isla Bonita. Just almost like a greatest hits record, except it's not. It's Madonna, True Blue. I don't get this very often, 1986. It's really hard to find, really tightly held. And so there you go, for those of you into Madonna. I've got a couple of really nice Japanese presses of the Beatles. I've got the EAS0556. This is the really good 76 repress of Revolver. And similarly, I've got Hey Jude. And for those of you who aren't so familiar with Hey Jude, which is here, I'm just going to remind you, this has got obviously Hey Jude, Revolution, Paperback Writer, I Should Have Known Better, Lady Madonna, Can't Buy Me Love, Don't Let Me Down, The Ballad of John and Yoko, Rain, and Old Brown Shoe. Every one of those is worth owning, and this is the best way to own them. This Japanese press is great fun, and kind of like that little secret Beatles album. And then finally, I have on the Fantasy label, I have a kind of a sneaky great album, actually. This is Bayou Country by Creedence Clearwater Revival. I can't remember which album this is, either second or third, I think. Let's have a look. Bayou Country, Born on the Bayou, Graveyard Train, Good Golly Miss Molly, Proud Mary, of course, and Keep on Chugling, which became pretty much a definitive record for them. I can't remember what year this came out. It's the VIP 4055 pressing, so I suspect it's a really nice repress, but it's in lovely, lovely condition. And I have all of the Creedence records in these Japanese presses, and they're excellent. As a reminder, if you buy anything from this list, you will get an entry to win a copy of the 75th anniversary audiophile version of Chuck Berry Is on Top. And that will come free from me. I will be doing the draw at the the weekend, on the long weekend. So well worth picking up a few records from the lists this week, because whoever wins that is a really nice prize. All right. Now, if you would like to try and win that Chuck Berry record, or just buy some of those records, drop me an email, stephen@shortcutsrecords.com.au, stephen@shortcutsrecords.com.au, or have a look in the notes below. There's a link where you can fill in your details. As always, like, subscribe. I don't get many comments. I love it when I do. And yeah, I will talk to you all soon. Bye.